Have you ever wondered to yourself, why is it difficult to understand the American accent when watching a movie or TV show? I want to help you, but I want to explain this and help you get a better understanding why this may be and what's going on, because I want to talk to you about fast speech. And really, this is hopefully going to help with your listening comprehension and understanding, well, why certain people sound the way they do, what's going on when it comes to different parts of connected speech. And I think this can also really help with your own speaking fluency, even though we all have different goals. But I think if you want to speak naturally and clearly, in which case I mean that it is understandable, then I believe this will help you, because you don't want to necessarily just always pronounce each and every individual word, because the way I said it right there, that's not necessarily how you're going to hear other people speak. You can still use different parts of connected speech that we're going to go over right now, and it's understandable, it's natural, and that's really what I want to focus on. And if this is something that you enjoy learning, please subscribe, turn on notifications, then that way I can become your teacher. My name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English. It's all about trying to help you reach your fluency goals. And I want you to practice. This is not just a lesson I want you to look at and think, okay, that's sure. Not make it passive learning, but more active. Because we're going to go through these sentences right here. We're going to do a deep dive. But I want you to practice and say them with me. You can shadow me. Try to say it at the same time. Maintain that same pace. So let's go through these sentences one at a time. And to begin with, this is like a little mini dialogue. I just want you to listen to how I would say this dialogue, and then we're going to jump into each individual sentence. So if I were saying this dialogue right here, I would say, don't you want to get out of the pool? What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. Let's go to the restaurant to get a bite to eat. I'm going to do a few more laps and then I'm done. So as I'm saying this and you're able to see the dialogue, it's probably pretty simple. And you think, well, okay, I understand this. And if you're watching a movie and TV show, if you use subtitles, which there's nothing wrong with that, I imagine it makes it a lot easier to understand. Again, the challenge would be when you're having a conversation or you're trying to listen to someone while they're giving a presentation, the subtitles or the words may not always be available. And that's when you want to fine tune and hone your listening skills. So let's look at this first sentence right here, this question. Don't you want to get out of the pool? And let's look at what's going on. As we go through, I'll try to give a few shout outs here and there, but it's great to see so many people. Julia, Rafaela, Tessa, excellent. So the first part that I want to look at up here, so don't you want to? Two things going on. Don't you? That T and Y may blend together to create a new sound, this ch sound. It's very slight. It's almost like we're going to insert it between the two words, and that allows us to then connect this phrase together. So, of course, there's nothing wrong with saying don't you, and you may hear that. It's not like this is not a rule that you have to do this or you're always going to hear it, but it is common in this case, don't you, don't you. Can you hear that slight ch sound? Don't you, don't you. Want to, a very common reduction in English. Want to gets reduced to wanna. Don't you wanna, don't you wanna. So the next part, I'm going to put it up there in phonetic spelling so you can see the pronunciation. Hopefully that makes it a little easier to understand what's going on. Don't you wanna get out of. Again, I just pronounced the individual words, but I would end up saying get out of, get out of. I'm going to use linking and a flap T and a reduction. So linking is when we link the final consonant sound of one word with the beginning vowel sound of the next word. So in this case, get out of, we can link those three words together. Now, I said a flap T, and this is more specific to the American accent because I'm from the US. When the T comes between two vowel sounds, especially when it's in an unstressed word or syllable, then it may get pronounced as a flap T. It's going to sound like a soft D. Get out of. Get out of. Can you hear that flap T? Get out of. Get out of. Now, out of, this is the reduction because I could say out of or outta, especially when the next word begins with a consonant sound. Get out of the. Get out of the. All right, just try to say that phrase. Get out of the. Get out of the. Now, I've chosen this phrase specifically because get out of is very common. This phrase is often used in English. And if you are looking for a starting point to practice linking, this is a great phrase because we use it like to get out of the car, get out of bed, get out of, you're going to, in this case, get out of the pool. So this is a phrase that is often used, and you could use that linking. And with the American accent, you're going to be linking those flap T's. I told you I'm really going in deep here as to what's going on. And then this question, because it's a yes/no question, you may have that rising intonation at the end. Get out of the pool. And it's going to sound a little longer. So I would say this right here, and then I want you to practice it with me. Don't you want to get out of the pool? Don't you want to get out of the pool? So let's say it slowly, and I want you to, repeat after me. Don't you want to get out of the pool? Okay, now let's say it together and just shout out. Don't you want to get out of the pool? Now let's speed it up. Don't you want to get out of the pool? Say it with me again. Try to maintain that same speed. And I think that is the value of shadowing. Ready? Don't you want to get out of the pool? One more time. Don't you want to get out of the pool? So this is the first question, these different things that are going on. And you're going to see, we're going to talk about this again, assimilation, reductions, and we're going to practice this at the end. If you are practicing with me, let me know down in the comments or in the chat. Just write the word speaking. That way I know that you are participating in the lesson. And if you would actually like to literally practice with me, this is something that we talk about in my speaking course. We always warm up with something related to pronunciation, connected speech. Most of the time it deals with connected speech, and we're working on these sentences, talking about what's happening, and then we move into our speaking topic, learning different vocabulary, different engaging speaking activities. So the course is for intermediate to advanced speakers. It's all about helping you speak confidently, speak clearly, speak naturally. Check out the link down below in the description if you'd like to learn more or enroll. And in that case, you'll be speaking directly with me and practicing some of the very things that we're going over right now. Let's look at the next sentence. All right. And again, I'm going to give some shout outs, especially I love seeing people actually participating. Practicing. That is what this is all about. Another question and then a statement. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. This is the response to that question. Don't you want to get out of the pool? So what's happening here? Again, we've already talked about assimilation. Sounds blend together. A lot of times this happens with questions. So in this case, what's your? If the S and Y blend together, you get that sh sound, like you're telling somebody to be quiet. Shh. Again, we're going to insert it between the two words. That is what allows us to connect them. So what's your? It's really a natural transition from one word to the next. This is not something you have to force. If you say it, it'll just occur naturally. What's your name? Is a very common question. In this case, what's your hurry? What's your? You hear that slight sh sound. And then the next one, so we have what's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. So just oftentimes when the next word starts with a consonant sound and the T comes between two consonants, it's going to elide. This often happens with the T or D. So in this case, just taken, that T is going to elide. It's like it gets removed. Now, it really doesn't matter anyway because the next word begins with a T sound. So it's really also like you have these overlapping sounds. But I just wanted to point out, I just wanted that w is a consonant sound. You don't hear the T, it elides. That is what I wanted to point out, that when the next word begins with a consonant sound, whether it's a T or some other consonant, it's going to elide. Just wanna, just taken. Now, with verbs in the continuous tense, I think it's quite common in the US. I will drop the G. This is referred to as G dropping. So instead of taking, which you can say, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I would make it sound like taken, taken. Can you hear the difference? Taking, taken, taking, taken, taking, taken. Now, once I drop the G, I can then link it with the vowel sound in it. And I think this often happens, especially in this case, because it's easier to link that N sound instead of the ing. Taken it easy. I can link that whole phrase together right there on the bottom. And once again, that T in it, you're going to hear me pronounce it as a flap T. It's going to sound like a soft E. Taking it easy. Taking it easy. Just say that phrase at the bottom. Taking it easy. Taking it easy. So there's the phonetic spelling that I tried to provide. Taking it easy. Taking it easy. So let's practice this together. I saw some people already. Ella, Ron, excellent. Love it when people are practicing. Keep it up. Let me know. I want to know. So let's say this right now, and I'll say it slowly, and then I'll say it a little faster. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. So just repeat after me. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. Now, let's say it again. Say it with me. I'll say it a couple of times. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. Again, what's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. And that can be a little tricky, that linking, taking it easy, because you can really move right through the phrase. Now, connected speech does allow you to speak faster, and that is why I think in movies and TV shows it can be difficult to understand. But that does not mean you're always going to speak fast. I can give a presentation and speak a little slower, but still use these different parts of connected speech. So let's practice this again together. I'll say it at a normal speed. Repeat after me. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. Now let's say it together. I'll say it a few times. Just join in. I'm just going to loop it and just repeat it. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. Again, let me know, right speaking, if you're practicing, participating, that is what this lesson is all about. And the next sentence that we have, let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. So that is how I would just say it if I'm talking to someone else. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Now let's look at what's going on. Go to the. So I wanted to isolate this phrase because we use it often. Like I mentioned, that get out of is a great phrase for practicing linking. Go to the. What I really wanted to focus on is the word to, because there are two different ways to pronounce it. When it's stressed, it's going to sound like I'm saying the number two. To. When unstressed, the vowel, it may get reduced and the vowel sound's going to change and it may sound a little more like the schwa sound t. It's much softer. And because the T comes between two vowel sounds, that's why I have it saying right there, it's going to sound like a flap T. Go to the. Go to the. Just say that one phrase. Go to the. Go to the. This is, again, specific to the American accent. And we use this phrase often. Go to the what? I'm gonna go to the park, go to the mall, go to the gym, go to the office, and you hear this go to the, go to the, go to the. So this is something that I would say just definitely listen for it because you'll hear this a lot. Let's go to the restaurant, and is another reduction that it changes and it's going to sound like N. Geta, I can link that phrase together, and that T, you're going to hear me pronounce it as a flap T, bite to eat. This is some co-articulation. We have overlapping sounds. So it's not necessarily, you don't want to say it as two words, bite to, and take that break. We're just going to say that one T, bite to, and we're releasing it into that reduced to, bite to eat. So this is what it's going to sound like. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. So let's say it, repeat after me slowly. Again, let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Now let's say it again. Let's say it a little faster and just shadow. Say it with me. Practice that pacing in these different things. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Again, if you wanted to speed it up, you could say it much faster. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. So again, these are definitely things that I want you to keep in mind. Those unstressed words, in which case the vowel's going to get reduced. So to may sound a little more like ta, and may sound more like n. This is very common in spoken English, and it will really help with your overall listening comprehension and understanding, okay, that is the sound I'm hearing, that unstressed, weak sound. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. Except I am not going to say each individual word like that, the way that I am speaking right now. It sounds a little robotic. I would just say, I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. Since you see the sentence there, I imagine you're listening and it's okay, I understand that. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. But let's do a deep dive. We're talking about the pool, so this is very relevant. Doing a deep dive and talk about what's going on. I'm going to. You could reduce that to I'm gonna. Going to, getting reduced to gonna, very common. It happens all the time. Gonna, wanna, have to. I think those are some of the most common reductions. However, when we have I'm going to, you could reduce that entire phrase and it's gonna sound like I'm gonna. I feel like when I teach this, some people are a little more comfortable than others saying I'm gonna. It's not something you have to do, but it will help with your listening comprehension. If we're talking about movies, TV shows, the way that people are just speaking out on the street, you will hear that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I imagine you've heard me say it already as I've gone through this lesson. I end up saying it a lot. I'm gonna do a. So I did want to point out intrusion, which would be, it's another part of connected speech when you're adding sounds, either a slight Y or a slight W. Do. In this case, I think you can hear that slight W sound because once again, it just allows us to link two vowel sounds together. Do. I'm gonna do a. I'm gonna do a few laps and then I'm done. So the entire first part up there is gonna sound like I'm gonna do a. I'm gonna do a few laps, and I've already mentioned it may get reduced and sound more like N. Then I can link that phrase together, linking the final consonant sound with the beginning vowel sound. Then I'm done. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. Let's say it slowly, and I want you to repeat after me. And give the I'm gonna a try. You can let me know how you feel in the comments, in the chats. You can just give it a try and see what you think. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. One more time slowly. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. Now let's start to speed it up. You can shadow. I'll just say it several times. You can join in, practice with me. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. And again, because we're using connected speech, if I were to say it very fast, I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. If you hear somebody say this and you don't see the written words, that's when it can be a lot more challenging. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. I think there are definitely words that you would hear and pick out, those stressed words, but this is what makes it a little more difficult to really identify the individual words because people are actually saying them together. They're saying them as a phrase. Let's practice now. I want you to participate and say this dialogue. We're going to say it together. Once again, I'll say the whole thing and then we'll take turns. So there's A and B, these two people having a conversation. Don't you want to get out of the pool? What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. I'm going to do a few laps and then I'm done. Let's practice. How about I'm going to start. I will say A. I want you to say B. And then we'll switch. Ready? Don't you want to get out of the pool? Let's go to the restaurant and get a bite to eat. Well done. Now I want to switch. I want you to say A, and I'm going to say B, so you can begin right now. What's your hurry? I'm just taking it easy. I'm going to do a few more laps, and then I'm done. Perfect. Okay, so again, you're practicing your speaking skills. You're improving your listening comprehension when you understand what's going on with these different sentences. If you were actually participating and practicing with me, let me know. Write the word speaking in the chat, in the comments. You can also tell me what you thought. Was this really difficult? Was it pretty easy to go through and practice and say these different sentences using these different parts of connected speech? Because, again, I really want to point out that these are things that you will hear in movies, TV shows. It's not necessarily that you have to learn these words such as linking, assimilation, elision. It's good to be aware of what's going on. Unless you are an English teacher, then I think it's definitely useful to understand, well, what's happening so that you can explain it to others. But most importantly, just to be able to understand that, well, there might be a small sound getting inserted between two words, or an elision, a sound's getting removed, or reduction is happening, and the vowel sound's going to change just slightly. So excellent, great job, excellent. Julia, Vidya, thank you for participating. That is what I love to hear. And again, if this is something that interests you and you actually want to practice with me, check out that link down below in the description. If you'd like to join my course, practice different parts of connected speech. There are audio and video lessons included in the course so that you can practice on your own, and lessons are each week. It's an 8-week course. Check out the link down below if you'd like to learn more about it. And of course, if you have any questions, just send me an email. So I hope that you found this lesson useful. I hope you have a better understanding. And if you did, let me know. Hit that like button. That tells me that I should do more lessons like this in the future. So I appreciate everyone joining me today. I really appreciate you participating in the lesson, saying these sentences with me. It's been great seeing you. Just to give a few shout outs, Lalatao, Vidya, Julia, Alex, thanks so much for being here. Rafaela, it's good seeing you. I will speak to you soon. Manuel, Peter, Thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And of course, I will see you very soon in the future